Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the 2014 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 16 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays. And by Home Hardware, homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Welcome to Rogers Center. The roof is wide open on a gorgeous night here this Monday evening. First of 3 against the Minnesota Twins. Ron Gardenhire's Twins are in town. Joe Mauer, a 3-time batting champ, is playing first base these days. And let's take a look at the Twins lineup. As a team, the Twins are batting .245 for the season. The rookie Danny Salazar, top of the order. He's got a 4-game hit streak. He's really been impressive. He had a 4-hit, 5 RBI game on Saturday. And then down in the 8th spot, the veteran catcher Kurt Suzuki against R.A. Dickey. He is 4 for 11 with a home run, and he's driven in 4. And Dickey has really helped out behind the plate for this Twins ball club. They'll take on R.A. Dickey, who makes his 14th start tonight.
And he won his 6th game of the season. His last time out, it was against the Tigers, but it was a struggle for R.A. Pitched 5 innings. He scattered 7 hits. Walked 4, struck out 4. It's the first time since 2008 he had consecutive starts of 5 innings or less. He's faced the Twins in April. Had a tough time with the Twins that day too. Now, granted, it was very cold in Minnesota. He walked 5 in that game in just 4 1/3 inning.
Well, let's take a look at the defense behind R.A. Dickey. It's Cabrera, Gose, and Bautista in the outfield. And Cabrera had a terrific day defensively yesterday. Francisco and Reyes on the left side of the infield. Lowry and Encarnacion on the right side. And Josh Tolley will handle the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey, who won his first Gold Glove last season.
Milky had a Gold Glove play in yesterday's ball game. He's running around better in the outfield. He told me today his legs feel great, and it showed. Made a great catch down the left field line yesterday.
Danny Santana will lead things off. Santana, the center fielder, takes the first pitch in there for a strike, and we are underway. 20 degrees here at Rogers Center. Santana getting his first look at the knuckleballer. We mentioned his 4-game hit streak. He's 8 for 20 over those 4 games.
Exciting player that Ron Gardenhire says, I got to keep him in the lineup. He makes things happen. Very fast. He slaps the ball around, doesn't strike out a lot. I'm looking for somebody to spark this offense.
He's a natural shortstop who's playing in center field and making some adjustments out in the outfield. Just 23 years old. He signed as a amateur free agent now the Dominican Republic in December of 2007. Takes that knuckler low. It's a full count.
Well, that's one thing that you will see from this Minnesota Twins team. They don't swing at a lot of pitches. Very patient at the plate.
There's a fastball driven to right. Bautista back looking up. This ball is gone. Danny Santana hits that fastball over the wall in right. His 2nd big league home run. That's the 6th home run Dickey has allowed here at Rogers Center this season.
And he keeps hitting. Santana, if you're going to throw that fastball, you got to get it down. That time it just leaked up in the strike zone. He doesn't want to walk anybody. Doesn't want to put that speed on the bases, but you can see that's belt high and out over the plate. And even though he's not a big guy, a good swing like that's going to knock it out of the ballpark.
So the Twins take a 1-0 lead. Santana, he's going to keep his playing time. He keeps swinging the bat like that. Brian Dozier, the second baseman, he's a terrific offensive player. His average doesn't reflect just what a good hitter he is. He has 11 doubles and 12 home runs. Now, is this foul?
Was the leadoff hitter for the most part this year. Very patient at the plate. He'll see a lot of pitches. In fact, the Minnesota Twins see the most pitches per plate appearance than any team in baseball.
Another foul off. The Twins have 10 or more hits in 7 of their last 11 games. They can swing the bats. They're still plagued by pitching concerns, but they've got a good offensive team.
You know, this is a different team than the team we saw back in April when we were in Minnesota faced the Twins. They had a lot of players on the disabled list who have finally gotten healthy, and they're now in the lineup with this team.
They didn't have Josh Willingham active. They didn't have Oswaldo Arcia active. They are both in the lineup tonight. Plus Santana wasn't even on the radar screen. So they're a different ball club than we saw in April. The Twins took 2 of 3 against the Blue Jays in Minneapolis.
How about the guy who's hitting 6th today for them?
He's as new as anybody. Kendrys Morales just signed a free agent contract, and he is in the lineup in his first day with the Twins. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You mentioned R.A. Dickey his last time out had a bit of a rough go of it. There's Morales with his new ball club. Full count. Dickey picked up the win against the Tigers in an 8-2 victory. He went 5 innings, gave up 7 hits, 2 earned runs, and both of those runs came on home runs. There's a high fly ball to deep left field. This ball is fair and gone. Back-to-back home runs for the Twins for Dozier. That's his 13th home run of the season.
He's got some power right at the top of that lineup. Right now they're a very patient team, like we say, and they're laying off that knuckleball that's out of the strike zone, and when R.A. throws it in there, these guys are swinging hard.
The first time the Twins have hit back-to-back home runs this season.
Knuckleball down and in to a right-hander, and he golfs it out of here. Hit 18 home runs last year. That's number 13 for Dozier.
Joe Mauer goes after the first pitch and hits it foul into the seats. Mauer's now the first baseman. He's done a nice job playing first base. His average isn't where you expect with Mauer. 264 average so far.
That 264 average that you see right there, the lowest in his career in a given year when he's had at least 200 at-bats.
Tonight, with this start in this ballgame, he ties Torrey Hunter for 3rd on the all-time Twins games played list. Ghost makes the catch. That's the first out of the ball game. So Mauer's retired. That'll bring up Josh Willingham. Willingham has been a hot hitter since he's returned to the lineup. He leads the majors with 14 RBIs since the 29th of May.
He's a good hitter. He's got power. That on-base percentage, 464, and he's a run producer. Power to all fields.
The Twins are 3 games under 500, 29 and 32, but they're only 5 games back in the Central. Bouncing ball. Big hop for Francisco. 2 down.
I think Minnesota feels like it's an open division in the American League Central. There are the numbers that you were just talking about. 3 games under 500, but just 5 games out behind the Tigers. I think it's anybody's division.
Tigers have some real concerns, especially at the back end of their bullpen. They signed Joe Nathan as the closer, and he has really gone through a tough start to his season. Jabba Chamberlain coughed it up yesterday, and the Indians are knocking on the door. The Royals aren't that far behind. The Royals probably have the best overall pitching in that division when you consider the strength of their bullpen.
That is the usually over 162 games, the factor that you look at when you watch teams and see if they're going to have a chance to win. They just can't hit anybody right now.
Osvaldo Arcia, the right fielder. As we mentioned, he was on the DL when we saw the Twins in the middle of April in Minnesota. He's got a big, powerful swing.
Good looking hitter. Watched him take some BP today, some early BP. He was launching them. Can hit the ball the other way, though.
Upstairs. Yankees thrown 25 pitches in this inning, and that's the MO for the Twins. They'll make you work.
They will make you work, and if your knuckleball is not going over the plate, these guys will not swing at it.
Kendrys Morales will be next if Arcia can reach, and he does. He takes ball 4. 2-out walk issued to Arcia. Now it's Kendrys Morales. When you go back to his last 14 starts here at Rogers Center, R.A. Dickey's been pretty good. A 9-1 record, ERA just over 3. And the opponents have hit just 234. Plus the whip is respectable. So this fast start by the Twins has been the exception over his last 15 starts.
Beat the Yankees here early in the season. They're a good hitting team. Probably his finest start this year was against Oakland, and they're a great offensive team. Beat them a couple of starts ago. Pitched into the 9th inning.
Strike 2. Morales getting his first at bat since last September. No minor league rehab games. He came directly from the Scott Boras Baseball Academy in Florida. That hit the umpire, Tom Hallion, in the mask. It was a foul chip. It bounced off Tolley and caught the umpire squarely in the mask.
Looks like it shook him up too.
Boy, hit him right on the point of the chin, and it rocked him pretty good. He's going to get a visit from Mike Frostad, the assistant trainer, and you can see he's feeling the effects of it. Hit him right on the point of the chin, squarely in that face mask. Eric Cooper, Chris Guccione, and Sean Barber, the umpires, obviously concerned about the crew chief. Boy, that rocked him back on his heels.
Knocked him back. He's been around a long time. He's a veteran.
Yeah, the umpires, they take a beating as well, and they never get a half inning in the dugout. They got to stand on their feet for 9 full innings, and Tom Hallion says, I'm okay, let's continue. Morales has hit in 11 of his last 12 games against the Blue Jays. Dickey strikes out Morales to end the inning. R.A. Dickey has been tough in the first innings this season, but he gives up back-to-back home runs. Danny Santana, his second. Brian Dozier, his 13th. The Twins have an early lead. This ballgame, they haven't scored for 18 innings. They were shut out twice by the Cardinals. They look to turn things around tonight. Top of the order, Jose Reyes, Melky Cabrera, then Jose Bautista. And his career numbers against Minnesota are ridiculous. 20 home runs, 30 RBIs in just 39 career games for Bautista. Juan Francisco has seen a lot of Ricky Velasco, and he likes what he sees. 5 for 11 with a homer and 5 RBIs, both Francisco and Velasco spent time in the National League, and Ricky Nolasco will make his 13th start of the season here tonight.
Looking for his third straight win after a very rough start to his season. He made 2 career starts versus the Blue Jays, does not have a decision against them, although he has pitched well against Toronto. His ERA just above 3 in his 2 career starts versus Toronto.
Jose Reyes, we talked about him being the igniter, getting something going for the Blue Jays. He takes first pitch outside. He knows Nolasco well. .327 average, 16 for 49 against Ricky Nolasco, and Nolasco falls behind 2-0.
Played behind him. They were teammates in Miami in 2012. But they were also in the National League East together, and he's seen a lot of them.
Bouncing ball. Dozier stays on it. Reyes is retired, 1 down. Minnesota's always had a reputation of being a good defensive ball club. In the outfield, they have Willingham, Santana, and Arcia from left to right. Trevor Plouffe has committed 6 errors at third base. Eduardo Escobar's a shortstop. Brian Dozier at second. Joe Mauer is a Gold Glover, but that was as a catcher. And Kurt Suzuki's a terrific catch and throw catcher, handling Ricky Nolasco.
And you mentioned that this is his first year over at first base. 47 games at first, 457 total chances already. Joe Mauer does not have an error this season.
Melky Cabrera takes a wide one. Cabrera batting .305. 10 homers, 33 driven in. Ricky Nolasco has the lead in the category you don't want to lead in. Highest opponent's batting average on the road. He's given up a .375 batting average, pitching away from target field. 60 hits and 160 at bats for Nolasco, and that's a big number of hits.
Yeah, 60 hits in 38 1/3 innings on the road. That's almost 2 base runners per inning when he's on the road. 7 of those have left the ballpark.
There's a little looper, and that's going to drop in front of Josh Willingham. Melky Cabrera gets his 82nd hit of the season. Let's take a look at Jose Bautista, a little in-depth look at his numbers against Minnesota, and they're ridiculous. His last 22 games against the Twins, he's hit .379. On base average of .471. Look at the home runs. He's got 16 home runs in his last 22 games.
1 every 5 at-bats against Minnesota. That's almost 1 a game whenever he faces the Minnesota Twins. He has done some damage. And it's no secret he and Edwin Encarnacion, the guys that really make this offense go because they can knock it out of the ballpark with regularity.
.309 for the season, and numbers across the board are outstanding. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Paul Molitor sets up the defense on the infield, and he told us he was going to pick his spots as to when he shifts on Bautista, and he's got a little bit of a shift going right now.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on Dozier, the second baseman, if he's going to full-fledged shift or if he's going to play him straight up. Molitor looks at the same scouting reports everybody else does, and he realizes that Bautista's using the ball, using right field, hitting the ball the other way at times.
Now, Nolasco's not a power pitcher. He throws a lot of slow breaking balls. Inside. Let me ask you, as a hitter, is it more difficult to go to the opposite field against a guy like Nolasco as compared to somebody that throws hard?
For me personally, I can only speak from experience. I thought it was easier to go the other way against somebody like Ricky Nolasco because you have a little bit more time to read the pitch and stay back and throw your hands as opposed to throwing the barrel of the bat. Guys who threw 95, 96 miles an hour, it was almost an accident that you hit the ball the other way.
Well, let's take a look at those pitches and how he utilizes all of his different weapons.
Fastball about 50% of the time for Nolasco. Slider, curveball, and a splitter that he picked up a few years ago. The curveball's been his most effective pitch this year, hitting just .226 against that. Everything else up over 300. Signed to a big free agent contract, and right now it hasn't worked out for him.
The largest free agent contract in Twins history. Adam Lind, he has been put in between Bautista and Encarnacion, and it has proven to be effective. It gives Bautista a potent left-handed bat behind him, and then Lind has the protection of Encarnacion behind him.
Yeah, and it splits up those right-handed batters back to back. So if there is a tough right-handed relief pitcher late in the game, tight ball game, the manager wants to make that move, you've got Adam Lind sitting between those two guys right there, Bautista and Encarnacion, and his .340 average.
His average jumps to .381 against right-handed pitching, and he has really benefited from this platoon situation. He's been a good clutch hitter as well.
Great numbers, and he's been hot over his last 19. 11 extra base hits in those 19 games.
And covers that outside pitch and fouls it out of play. Blue Jays are down 2-0. Twins hit solo home runs, back-to-back home runs in the top of the first time the Twins have gone back-to-back this season. That's going to be a foul ball, hit hard but well fouled. Of course, the Blue Jays lost 2 of 3 to the Cardinals over the weekend, and they were shut out in back-to-back games. Chubby Miller on Saturday threw a complete game 3 hitter, but then Jaime Garcia pitched a good game. He got out 3 hits over his 7 innings of shutout ball, and then Pat Neshek and Trevor Rosenthal closed it out. Lind's caught looking at strike 3. So there are 2 down now. We take a look at the career OPS leaders with a minimum of 2,000 plate appearances. Carlos Delgado leads the way. 949 OPS. Jose Bautista is second. Then Fred McGriff and Edwin Encarnacion is fourth in the franchise leaderboard for career OPS.
I'd just like to have that team as your middle of the lineup right there. Those guys. 2,000 plate appearances and great production.
Encarnacion goes after the first pitch and falls behind 0-1. Melky Cabrera singled. Bautista walked. Lots of breaking balls from Ricky Nolasco. This is where that Kevin Seitzer approach of using the middle of the field really is beneficial.
Yeah, it's tough to pitch to a team when they're thinking back through the middle. That means they're going to stay on that breaking ball just a little bit longer. When he gets to 2 strikes, he likes to use that splitter.
High and deep to left. Willingham back. Goodbye. Home run. Number 20.
What were you just saying about lots of off-speed pitches? That looked like another one, and that one stayed on the inner half for Encarnacion. And he waited back on it, waited for it to get there, and then let it go. That's how you bust a streak.
Blue Jays are shut out no longer. A 3-run, a home run off the bat of Double E. His 20th of the season. RBIs 51, 52, and 53.
Stay back, breaking ball, inner half, and he's done that. He knows how to handle that pitch.
Breaking ball on Francisco is in the hole 0-2. You can see the discussion continues on the bench about the pitches, what he's throwing, what he saw. These guys really exchange a lot of information in between at bats. Juan Francisco is 5 for 11 against Velasco for his career. There's a home run. He's driven in 5. Pulled foul. He's going to get a steady diet of off-speed
Yes,
pitches.
he is, especially now that it's 3-2. It's been the problem for Juan over the last couple of weeks is the breaking ball. He's seen a lot more of them. He just hasn't been able to lay off of them.
Breaking ball in the dirt. The inning is over. A couple of strikeouts, but Edwin Encarnacion takes advantage of 2 on base. He waits on this breaking ball, hits his 20th home run. That's the 90th home run the Jays have hit this season. Throwing out the first pitch, it was Jack Reynor, star of Transformers, Age of Extinction, in theaters June 27th. Mark Burley, as always, catching the first pitch, and the Age of Extinction, the Terminators, will be out June 27th. Well, some early fireworks here. We've played 1 inning. We've hit 3 home runs already. Twins have 2, and the Blue Jays have a 3-run homer. Trevor Plouffe, the third baseman, he's got some pop. He's got 5 home runs so far. Well, now it's all about adjustments.
Yep.
Who's going to make the best adjustments the quickest?
That had to be a shot of adrenaline for R.A. Dickey, that 3-run home run. Made a couple of mistakes in the first inning. His offense gave him runs right back, and now he's got a lead to work with.
Pretty good knuckler right there. Tom Hallion's a veteran home plate umpire. He got rocked back on his heels on a foul ball. Caught him right in the point of his face mask. Sharply hit. Reyes waits at short. 1 down. Jose Reyes is healthy again, and Reyes and Dickey were teammates with the New York Mets. And Dickey knows just how good Reyes can be when he's 100%, and we have seen some of that this year.
Yeah, talking to him today, he said, you know, my legs feel great, and because they feel great, I can do the things I need to do on the bases. And we have seen him do that. Leg out triples, extra bases, take the extra base when he is on base, going first to third on a ground ball. He's an exciting player.
Reyes has 2 triples this season. He didn't have a triple for the first time in his career last year. His first season with the Jays.
Just was not right. Even when he came back from that ankle injury, he wasn't right.
Reyes missed 66 games a year ago. Kurt Suzuki in the 8th spot. Suzuki has been a good acquisition by the Twins. Two and one. Suzuki hitting .442 against the American League East teams this year. 19 for 43. He's always been thought of as a catch and throw catcher, but this year he's hitting nearly 300.
300, and he's producing too with those 28 RBIs.
There's a base hit. Continues to hit well against R.A. Dickey. His 5th hit against Dickey. Suzuki's aboard with a 1-out single.
Looked like another knuckleball. That one tumbled. There isn't any movement on it. Just tumbles towards home plate. That's an easy hit right there for Suzuki. Probably went down the first base line saying thank you for not knuckling.
Eduardo Escobar, the shortstop, a switch hitter, batting right-handed against, left-handed against Dickey, the right-hander. First pitch, strike. Escobar was 3 for 9 in the recent series against Houston. Strike 2. That's going to be into the seats, out of play. This will be the final series of this homestand. Tonight, tomorrow night, and Wednesday afternoon, then Blue Jays go out on the road. That foul tip came right back up and hit Escobar, and he's going to have to walk off the effects of that one.
Yeah. Never know where that knuckleball is going to go, and you start your swing. Get a piece of it. Escobar's going to have to walk that one off.
Tom Hallion, the home plate umpire, gave him a little more time, and then he called for the ball boy to bring him some new baseballs. So Escobar is set. He steps back in the box. It looks so easy when you see the pitch tracker say, well, it was right there on the corner. He should have called it. But the umpire's got to deal with all that movement, just like the hitter and the catcher. There's a drive into center. Goes almost in his tracks. Makes the catch. 2 down. Blue Jays lost 2 of 3 to the Cardinals, and everybody around Toronto wanted to panic. But they got a 5.5 game lead over the Orioles. The Orioles are only a game over 500. The Yankees are even at 500. The Reyes lost again today, 3-0 to Seattle.
They're having trouble scoring some runs, and John Gibbons was asked about the schedule going forward after this homestand. You got the Orioles and the Yankees, Reds, and then the Yankees once again. He said, what about the American League East? Do you put any more importance on these games that are coming up as you start to play within your division? He said, I don't put more importance on it. You just go out there and try and win every single night.
Yeah, a game is a game, but you really have the dramatic swings when you're in your own division. And you play a game, and the winner of that game is going to gain that game on its opponent.
But you can't put more importance on one game because it's division. You got to go out there and try and win every night.
Yeah, especially when you're in first place. You win, you don't have to worry about anybody else.
That's right.
Danny Santana took Dickey deep in the first inning. His second home run. He had a 5 RBI game on Saturday in his first 4-hit game of his career. 0-2. There's another hit. Stayed on that knuckleball. Bautista over. Suzuki goes first to third. Bautista tried to catch Santana sleeping. Threw it behind him. But he gets back So it's first and third with 2 outs.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the 2014 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 16 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
So R.A. Dickey, with runners at the corners, has to keep his eye on Santana at first. Brian Dozier, the second of 2 home runs hit in the first. His home run was his 13th.
You know, and if he does break at first base, Blue Jays might want to put a play on, maybe throw behind the runner at third. Santana can really run.
117 stolen bases in 545 career games. In the big leagues, he's 4 for 4 already. There's a fly ball to center. Should be an easy play for Anthony Gose. He moves under it. The inning is over. The Twins strand a pair. They'll go to the bottom of the second. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead. Wednesday, June 11th, when the Blue Jays and Twins wrap up this 3-game set. The game will start at 12:37 p.m. The first 25,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays team baseball card set. Call the Jays at 416-341-1234 or log online at BlueJays.com to order your tickets for the Blue Jays Swing into Summer Safety Day. Brett Lawrie goes after the first pitch and pops it down the right side. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead. All the runs in this ball game so far have come on the home run. Edwin Encarnacion hit his 20th home run, a 3-run shot in the first. Changeup is pulled outside of third. Blue Jays have now hit 90 home runs as a team. That is 14 more than the Oakland A's, the second team in the American League in home runs.
There's only 2 teams in the American League who have scored over 300 runs this season. Oakland and the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Oakland, you don't think about them being that type of prolific offense, but they have scored 327 runs. Blue Jays have scored 314 coming into this game.
And the only other team in baseball to score over 300?
That would be Colorado.
Colorado Rockies at 308.
Blue Jays have always been a powerful team, but now they're a very consistent team. Lawrie stays on the breaking ball. Poof, throws him out. Ricky Nolasco, as we mentioned, signed as a free agent in the offseason. This is the highest American League ERA on the road this season. Nolasco's at 7.51. The Orioles, Chris Tillman, not far behind him. Been a terrible season for Clay Buchholz, home and road. John Danks of the White Sox at 570, and David Phelps of the Yankees at 545.
So much so for Clay Buchholz, he's on the DL. Some other numbers for Nolasco. Hasn't been able to finish the innings off when he gets guys on base. Hitters are hitting .321 with runners in scoring position against him, and that just went up with the home run by Edwin.
Josh Tolley swinging the bat well. Limited starts. It's really challenging for Tolley to keep any sort of consistency at the plate.
Had a chance to talk to him about that the other day and asking how everything's going. He said, playing once every 5 days, I'm finding it hard to keep my timing because it's tough. You can do so much down in the cage, so many flips or so many BP. There's nothing like playing in a game and facing big league pitching to keep your timing going. But he's done a good job. And I think because he's been trying to shoot the ball the other way, it's helped him to stay on the ball just a little bit longer. He does drills down in the cage with Kevin Seitzer that simulate game speed, where he stands very close and throws the ball underhand really fast, so your timing is about the same as playing in a game. But he does a good job of staying on the ball and just trying to shoot it the other way.
Josh had his best offensive season while playing with the Mets in 2011. Played in 114 games, and there you get a good idea how much more consistently he got his at-bats.
When you play once every fourth day or once every fifth day, and your swing is one of those long swings and you're a pull hitter, you're not going to do anything. You just don't have the timing or the at-bats to be consistent.
Hits this ball sharply on the ground right at the second baseman. 2 ground ball outs from Nolasco here in the second. Kendrys Morales in his first game with the Minnesota Twins. He just recently signed a contract as a free agent. Because he signed after the 2014 draft started, there's no compensation involved, even though he turned down a qualifying offer from the Seattle Mariners. 2 outs for Anthony Gose. Gose shows bunt, takes his strike. Trevor Plouffe was really in at third base guarding against the bunt. He retreats a couple of steps, but he's well in front of the baseline.
Even if you just show bunt, you're going to bring those corners in.
This is popped up. Escobar, the shortstop, backpedals into the outfield. Quick inning for Ricky Nolasco. We've played 2. The Blue Jays have a 1-run lead. Currently, he is second in the active batting race. Miguel Cabrera at 321. Mauer right behind him at 320. Albert Pujols, Ichiro Suzuki, and Ryan Braun. Basically the who's who of hitting in the major leagues.
Batting average leaders, active players. 300 is something that is really hard to do. These guys 320, 321 for Miguel Cabrera. Joe Mauer, he'll get his share of hits. It's just a matter of time before he starts getting hot.
There are only 13 active 300 hitters in the major leagues. We saw two of them most recently in Detroit in the Tigers series. Matt Holliday is one of those. He was just here with the Cardinals, and now Joe Mauer.
Derek Jeter's got to be up there too, isn't he?
Derek Jeter is 311. He is 7th on the active list. Robinson Cano, his former teammate, he's 310. Then Matt Holliday, Victor Martinez, Dustin Pedroia at 301. He's a career 300 hitter as well.
It's so hard to hit 300. And to do it over the sustained time that those players have done it, amazing.
Joe Mauer has done it for 11 years. Miguel Cabrera, 12. Ichiro has 14 seasons, same as Albert Pujols. Derek Jeter, 20.
Wow.
That's consistency.
Yeah, in playing a demanding position like shortstop, or for Joe Mauer, the catcher position all those years.
Derek Jeter has 3,370 hits.
That's it?
That's all. Nicky hits the ground ball. Reyes behind second, throws out Mauer. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, the Orioles in second place in the American League East. Blue Jays will face the Orioles. It all begins on Thursday in Baltimore.
That's a big series.
Yeah,
four big games.
No matter what John Gibbons thinks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still a little bit too early to worry about series, but every day you just go out there and try and win.
Yep, but in Baltimore, of course, they're rivals. I think it means something to the players to maintain bragging rights.
Do you think Manny Machado will be playing in that series?
Wow, very interesting question. Manny Machado, in case you haven't heard, threw a bat intentionally and back toward the pitcher, went down to third base. But today he made an apology, saying he was sorry for his actions that embarrassed the organization in the Orioles. And yeah, it'll be interesting. I would be surprised if he's suspended. Josh Willingham caught looking at strike 3.
This time in a better spot. The knuckleball doesn't tumble as much this time, and it freezes Willingham. I've noticed that since that first inning, it looks like R.A. Dickey is starting to change speeds with his knuckleball just a little bit more. I saw a 69-mile-an-hour knuckler this inning. I think he's always at his best when he is changing speeds.
Osvaldo Arcia walked his first time up. I agree with you. I think no matter if you throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball and then you throw a 95-mile-an-hour slider, if everything's the same speed, hitters are going to adjust.
Hitters are going to work off that timing. When you start changing speeds and varying your miles per hour towards home plate, that gets in the mind of those hitters.
0-2, 2 outs. Ground ball. Encarnacion will go to the bag. R.A. Dickey has his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. When the Jays batter, it'll be Jose Reyes leading things off. Then Melky Cabrera. He has scored. Bautista walked and scored in the first. Sunday, June 29th, and the Blue Jays take on the Chicago White Sox. Game time is 1:07 p.m. First 20,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays visor. Call the Jays at 416-341-1234 or log online at BlueJays.com to order your tickets for Blue Jays Visor Giveaway Day, Sunday, June 29th. Top of the order, Jose Reyes against Ricky Nolasco. Looks at the one outside. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead. Reyes is an upbeat teammate. Guy that brings a lot of energy. Kind of keeps everybody loose. He stays on everybody. Doesn't let anybody get too up or too down.
And if they're not playing, he'll needle them just a little bit or get on them, won't he?
Who was the best teammate you had that could do that?
Gosh, there's been so many of them.
It's a knack, and it's really an important part of a team. Hal McRae was the best I ever played with. Not only was he a good teammate, but he made sure everybody else was focused as well. I mean, he'd come down. If you didn't get a guy in from third, he'd say, hey, you got to get that guy in. You're messing with my money now.
How about if you hit a weak one back to the pitcher's mound, a guy come, hey, ball's not carrying back to the mound today.
Wind's blowing straight in.
You better get out there and get some extra hitting going.
Bouncing ball up the middle, through for a base hit. Reyes is aboard.
Cannon's Best in Glass sales event. Performance cameras and lenses at the season's best prices. Visit canon.ca/bestinglass.
Jose Reyes aboard. Leadoff single here in the third. That extends his hit streak to 10 straight.
I asked him today, I said, have you always been this type of player playing the game of baseball? You always had this kind of energy? And he said, ever since I've been able to play the game, I just enjoy it so much.
And you know, he enjoys good players, whether they're on his team or other teams. You can see him talking hitting with Joe Mauer. But he's an energetic guy, and why not? It's a fun game, and oftentimes players forget how much fun it is to play. Melky Cabrera slices it foul.
Well, we've had a chance this year to watch him on the bases at full strength. And I remember the game against Oakland where he scored from second base on a ground ball to one of the infielders, just a heads-up play. He's got a very good knack for running the bases. He's got great instincts.
Cabrera strikes out, trying to check on that breaking ball, and goes around. Jose Bautista has 15 home runs, and we mentioned he's at 20 home runs against the Minnesota Twins. But look at his 2014 heat map. He has done such a great job of laying off borderline pitches. He's forced the pitchers right back over the heart of the plate.
Yeah, and when they do, look at that big red dot right in the middle. A bullseye for Jose Bautista, and he crushes it. And you're right, he's been so good at taking those borderline pitches and hitting the mistakes and then hitting them hard. He's got more walks this year than strikeouts. That's unheard of for a
power hitter,
a slugger.
Yeah, that red zone is certainly severe weather for pitchers.
Warning.
Breaking ball, Bautista bends back. It's in there for a strike. Jose walked his first time up and scored on the 3-run home run by Encarnacion. Bautista now with 51 walks. That leads the majors. Goes after that inside pitch. See that ball boy there? Did you see that last night? Kansas City ball boy picked up a fair ball.
Again?
Yeah, he handed it to a young fan. He'd been thinking about this young fan. He handed it to the young fan and realized it was fair. Poor kid was embarrassed. The next one that came down there was a foul ball, and he didn't budge.
I'll pick it up when it stops rolling, right?
He looked at the outfitter and said, you pick it up.
Always watch the umpire, right?
Oh, he was anxious to make that play. He jumped off his stool, made a great play, but it was a double. 0-2 to Bautista, 1 out. Reyes with a good lead at first. Upstairs. Good job by Suzuki. He's terrific at balls in the dirt. He's very quick on his feet. Signed originally with Oakland, and anytime you have a good base runner on and those balls are in the dirt, everybody's thinking about moving up 90 feet, but Suzuki nullifies those opportunities.
He's got soft hands behind the plate, very soft, where he can take that short hop like that. Little throw over to first base.
Reyes had an extra step lead that time, and Nolasco picked up on it. Reyes is 12 for 13 in steals. There he goes. Pitch is down and away, and Suzuki couldn't find the handle. In his haste to get the ball out of his glove, he never got a grip. 13 steals for Reyes.
Sounded like that ball hit the dirt and he just couldn't pick it and flick it right here. We talked about Reyes in the opening, that he makes things happen on the bases. He's running better. He says he feels healthy. His legs feel healthy, and he steals another one.
Yeah, you were right. It was a short hop, and Suzuki did what he could, but couldn't find the handle. 3-2 to Bautista. Had a good rip. We mentioned Jose hits well against the Twins. Well, to give you an idea, he has the highest career slugging percentage against any opponent since 1914. Look what he has slugged against the Twins.
And look at some of those other guys on that list. Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, Mickey Mantle.
Big numbers. Fouls another one back. Mickey Mantle had a .783 slugging percentage against the Washington Senators. Ellis Burks .794 against the Cardinals. Barry Bonds .821 against the Brewers. Then Mark McGwire and Jose Bautista. He has slugged .833 against the Twins. There goes Reyes to third. Bautista fouled it off. Tom Hallion said, no, you didn't. Bautista pleading his case that he fouled it off, and he will strike out. Reyes stole third on the pitch. But now there are 2 outs.
Slider in the dirt. Notice now with 2 strikes, he has gone to that breaking ball a lot, so the runners can pick that up. Jose trying to sell it, but he missed that one by a good foot. Slider down in the dirt.
Adam Lynn caught looking at strike 3 his first time up. He wasn't waiting around this time. We had mentioned how rarely Lynn swings at the first pitches, but with Reyes at third, he went after that first offering from Nolasco.
Yeah, and there's a runner out there, so no need to take one. Hope they're aggressive.
Reyes with a single and 2 stolen bases is at third for Lynn. Two and 1. This is really a tough spot for Nolasco. Doesn't really want to give in to Lynn in this situation. But the guy on deck hit a 3-run homer against him in the first.
He just has to pick who he feels more comfortable with. The left-hander Adam Lynn or the righty Encarnacion.
Bouncing ball, big hop for Escobar. It's short. The inning is over. The Blue Jays strand a runner at third. Would go to the fourth. It's a 3-2 Blue Jays lead. .ca cover every angle of the Toronto Blue Jays. Breaking news, photos, videos, and tweets. A one-stop shop for everything Blue Jays. The Blue Jays Rundown only on Sportsnet.ca. Shai Davidi and the rest of the crew will keep you up to speed on everything about the Blue Jays, so make sure you check it out. The Rundown on Sportsnet.ca. Got a good one going here. Both clubs scored in the first, and all 5 runs have come on home runs. Kendrys Morales takes a pitch inside. Well, he's got a wicked swing. He flew here last night with the Twins after they played at home, and once he got to the hotel, he called the bullpen coach Bobby Cuellar up, who speaks Spanish. 1-1 pitch and fouled out of play. He told Cuellar, he said, Bobby, would you tell the manager that I want to play tomorrow? He said, I've been sitting around for 4 months and I don't want to sit around anymore.
So he did. He called him up 2 o'clock in the morning and said, Gardy, he wants to play.
Right to Reyes, it's short. He takes his time. Morales is retired.
So what's the manager going to do? Of course he's going to put him in the lineup.
Yeah, Gardy told us today, did you ask to hit leadoff? I'd have put him in the leadoff spot. Ron Gardenhire's a trip. He is a lot of fun to be around, and got a pretty good ball club right now. They just need to sort things out with their pitching staff.
Oh, they're going to make some noise, I think, in the American League Central. Adding his bat and his 80 RBIs like he had last year.
Oh, he's a good hitter. And he's a switch hitter. Gives them versatility. He can give Mauer a day off here and there. He's not a great first baseman, but every once in a while you can put him over there at first. Trevor Plouffe is the third baseman. It's a high fly ball into right. Bautista has a bead on it. 2 down. R.A. Dickey has now retired 6 straight after the Danny Santana 2-out single in the second. Didn't like that ball and throws it out of the game. Obviously, the knuckleball is such a sensitive pitch. Dickey gets a feel for a baseball and doesn't feel right. He'll just ask for another.
He just got an out.
Maybe it was flat on one side. Kurt Suzuki takes strike 1. Another ground ball for Reyes. Another 1-2-3 inning for Dickey. Just 8 pitches for Dickey in the 4th. He's retired 7 straight. MLB.com at bat is the official app of Major League Baseball. Listen to live audio. Follow games pitch by pitch and enjoy in-game video and highlights. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. Pick it up. MLB at bat. Father's Day just around the corner, and that'd be a nice gift for Dan. He can keep track of everything that's going on around the baseball world. And it's only starting to heat up. Lots of good races going on around all the different divisions. How about the National League East? Atlanta, Washington, Miami, all tied up. Percentage points separate those teams. The Mets are 5 games back. Travis d'Ormeau just got sent to the minor leagues, a former Blue Jay. He wasn't hitting, and they sent him out and called up Taylor Teagarden to replace him.
Miami for real? For you?
Oh, I think so. They got pretty good pitching.
Could you imagine if Jose Fernandez was still pitching? They'd be
locked, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they'd be way up there, I think.
Edwin Encarnacion hit a 3-run homer off Ricky Nolasco in the first inning. The 12th home run that Nolasco has surrendered this season. The Twins have utilized a more dramatic shift with Encarnacion in this at bat. Dozier, the second baseman, waits on that dribbler off the broken bat, and Edwin is retired.
Edwin will have his share of broken bats. He's looking out over the plate, and if you buzz a fastball, you can always jam good hitters. Heard that years ago, as you see the bat shatter like that, because good hitters are looking for the ball out over the plate, or they're looking for certain pitches, maybe a breaking ball. And Nolasco crossed him up that time with a hard fastball in on his hands.
Well, that bat shattered, and it's another piece of kindling wood. I tell you what, these maple bats are so light, and they are so fragile. They're brittle, and if you don't square it up, they will shatter. Take a look at where the ball made contact with the bat, and this is why they break. Below the label. The sweet spot of a bat is only about 3 inches. Toward the end of the bat, it's probably 2.5, 3 inches down from the end of the bat, and the sweet spot, what'd you say, 3 inches forward max?
Yeah, and if you hit it perfectly, I've heard it's like the size of a dime or a nickel, something like that, to hit it exactly the way you need to hit it out of the ballpark. But a good hitter, though, it looked like Encarnacion was thinking breaking ball or thinking something out over the plate. And Nolasco crossed him up, threw him a fastball in the inner half. He just couldn't get the barrel there.
Now there is an accidental bat toss.
Big difference.
Big difference. And Francisco throws that well beyond the first base bag. He had to throw that 120 feet.
That might be a record this year. It looked like a changeup out over the plate. His timing's all messed up, and he just loses it. Ask him for some more pine tar or that stickum.
Well, Encarnacion and Francisco are so strong that when they start that bat through the hitting zone, put so much torque on their hands, and they just lose the grip. I don't think there was anything close to that in the Manny Machado bat toss last night. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out.
If he can lay off those breaking balls, and he's going to see a lot of them. And he said that to me last week. He said, I've got to be able to hit the breaking ball that's a strike and lay off the one that's a ball, because I'm going to get a lot of them. If he can do that, he's going to hit a lot of home runs.
Full count. Pretty good pitch right there. Francisco strikes out for the second time. That's 5 strikeouts for Nolasco.
The 2014 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 16 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Brett Laurie grounded out the third, his first time up. Laurie has 11 home runs. That ties his career high. He had 11 home runs twice in his career. Reaches for it and pops it up. Joe Mauer over near the seats, but it's out of his reach into the seats. Laurie hit 11 home runs in 2012, his first full season. And then he had 11 more last year.
His most impressive home run, I think, was his last one. A ball that was down and away, and he scorched it over the fence in right center field. I mean, on a line.
Came on Friday night against Lance Lynn. Nolasco straightens him up. Laurie hit an opposite field home run against Al Albuquerque in Detroit. That was on Tuesday night, a 3-run home run. Full count. Josh Tolley, the catcher, is on deck. He'll bat if Laurie can reach. And he does. Sharp single through the middle. Laurie's aboard with 2 outs.
Threw him a lot of junk early in the count, off speed stuff, and then tries to slip that sinker by him. But Brett just a little bit too quick for him. Right back through the middle.
Fred Laurie is just now learning how to hit. Closing in on 1,500 career at bats, and that's generally the benchmark. Should have 1,500 at the end of this season.
You've heard that for years, haven't you?
Terry Crowley, the great hitting coach for the Orioles, always felt like you would get a good indication of what kind of hitter you had after he had 1,500 at bats in the big leagues.
Because there's such a difference between the minor leagues and the major leagues. Now, you could come in your first year, have 500 at bats, and they pitch you a certain way. What are they going to do the second year? They're going to change up on you.
Well, think about the rookies of the year we've seen the last several years. Joe Charbonneau with the Indians, Bob Hamlin of Kansas City Royals. They had great rookie seasons and never could make the adjustment.
And there is an adjustment period. Pitchers start pitching you differently. They'll come up and they'll challenge you with the fastball when you first come up to see if you can handle that, a big league heater. Then they'll start throwing you breaking balls in fastball counts. And you've got to be able to become a good breaking ball hitter.
3-1. Uzziah Anthony Ghosts on deck, number 9 hitter. Tolley takes ball 4. So a 2-out single, now a 2-out walk, and Ricky Nolasco will work with 2 aboard. You know, you talk about coming after rookie hitters with the fastball. Remember when Anthony Ghosts first came to the big leagues? He couldn't get around on a big league fastball. And he was constantly shooting balls into the Blue Jays dugout. And he's made the adjustment, and he's worked hard to improve his stroke, get his timing down, and now he's holding his own.
For him, it's just a timing issue for me. Just a timing issue. He's got to start a little bit sooner.
Anthony, with the opportunity to play a little bit, has understood now that you just have to hit strikes, and he chases a couple of borderline pitches and falls behind quickly.
Let them come to you. He's done it for the most part, a good job of recognizing the ball out of the pitcher's hand and laying off those tough pitches.
Two-strike approach. You don't mind if he's late there, just protecting that strike zone. Nolasco has used his off-speed pitches to finish off at bats. There's that breaking ball in the dirt. Again, Suzuki pounces on it quickly.
What you can find here in the major leagues is 2-0, and if you're a good hitter, you're not necessarily getting a fastball, not like in the minor leagues. Or 1-2, you're not going to get a breaking ball. They might try a fastball. So you have to be able to recognize that pitch a little bit sooner.
Down and in goes, strikes out. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Nolasco. 6 in the ball game. The Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. Game. Mike Wilner, host of Blue Jay Talk, delivers insight and debate. Blue Jays Talk after the game on Sportsnet 590, The Fan. Mike Wilner, Jerry Howard, Joe Siddle, Statsman Scott Carson, making sure they have all the latest information up to speed, and of course Tom Young, the great producer. That is Scott Carson. We talk about him a lot. Now you've seen him for the first time.
That's over hustle right there, acting like he's giving Jerry stats.
That's a fine. Eduardo Escobar, the shortstop and a 9th hitter, takes a first pitch strike. R.A. Dickey has settled in nicely. Cut on and missed. It's 1-2. Upstairs, now 2-2. Dickey pitched for the Minnesota Twins in 2009. Pitched mostly out of the bullpen. He made just 1 start that season. And that was last season. He was a conventional pitcher and then made a real transition, really got into it. He was throwing the knuckleball in Minnesota, but then when he went to the Mets, that's when he got the opportunity to start. Little lazy pop up to first, and Encarnacion makes the catch. 1 out. Back in the first inning, the Twins hit back-to-back home runs for the first time this season.
And this is the leadoff hitter with his 2nd big league home run. 3-2, and he got a fastball out over the middle of the plate, a homer, and then a ball down and in to Dozier. He's hit all 13 of his home runs now this season to left field. 2-0 very quickly, but you said it. Dickey has settled in quite nicely now.
8 straight retired as he deals to Santana. Santana shows bunt. Danny Santana is an interesting player. He has speed. We mentioned the stolen base numbers from the minor leagues. He's already had a 4-hit, 5 RBI game in his young big league career.
And how about how they found him? He was a shortstop, like you were saying, his first time up. And they said we needed somebody to play center field. They've traded away a couple of pretty good center fielders the last couple of years.
Ben Revere and Denard Span. And they haven't had some of their prospects come along as they thought. Aaron Hicks was the guy they thought was going to be the everyday center fielder.
He's been battling some injuries this year. And so they said, okay, Santana, shortstop, go out there. Let's see what you can do.
Nice play by Francisco. He was in running against the bunt. That's 9 straight retired by R.A. Dickey, and he is going against the pattern. This year, Dickey's been terrific. First time through the order. Second time, they catch up with him a little bit, but the third time, they have hit over 300 against him. So we're going to watch that now as we head to the number 2 spot. Third time in the order for Brian Dozier. Dickey had been terrific in the first inning of work coming into this game. He had the 3rd best opponent's batting average in the first inning in all of baseball.
Maybe it's going to be a little bit different today because he was bad in the first inning and now he's starting to find it.
R.A. had allowed just 5 hits all season long in the first inning until he gave up back-to-back home runs here tonight. Well, he's feeling good now. You can see the tempo of his game is picked up.
Faster. He's throwing more strikes consistently. Changing speeds at times with that knuckler. I think at times when he tries to overthrow it and throw it too hard, that's when he comes out of his delivery and he might throw right through that break.
Full count. Joe Mauer is on deck. The first baseman has gone 0 for 2 so far. Cut on and missed. Gets away from Tolley, and he will throw to first to end the inning. R.A. Dickey has retired 10 straight. He has settled in here in the middle innings. '27th, 28th, and 29th, the Blue Jays take on the White Sox. Bring the cottage to the city of Toronto for the weekend. Enjoy the pregame festival outside Gate 10. There's live music, a licensed area, sun and sand. 200-level outfield will turn into a porch oasis. So make sure you call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234 or log online at bluejays.com to order your tickets for Cottage in the City weekend. Starts Friday, June 27th. 2-0 to Jose Reyes. Reyes has led off 3 times tonight. He had a leadoff single in the 3rd, stole 2nd, stole 3rd, but was stranded at 3rd base. Taking all away. Reyes is a former National League batting champ. His average now is up to 262. It's been a steady climb as he's gotten off to a slow start. He had the hamstring injury, put him on a DL after one at bat to start the season.
Yeah, think about what he had to endure at the beginning of the season. He goes through spring training, goes through 6 weeks of hard work, and then injures himself right at the end of spring training, re-injures it the first at-bat of the season, goes on the DL, and has to restart it.
Hits this one high and deep to right, and it's way back and gone. Jose Reyes, number 4.
And he's getting his timing back now. He has restarted his season, and he's that igniter at the top of that lineup. We saw the power earlier. We saw some speed. Gets on base. Watch where this pitch is. Up. Fastball, and he climbs on top of that one and hammers it out of the ballpark.
2 home runs allowed by Ricky Nolasco. Reyes with a 2-for-3 night. This is a pretty swing.
Up in the strike zone. And he's got some power, some pop. And he generates it with a spread eagle at the plate. He's got a wide stance, but he generates so much bat speed. That's what allows him to hit the ball so hard. He knows Mr. Ricky Nolasco, doesn't he?
He sure does. That's his 4th career home run against Ricky Nolasco. And they were talking, yeah, it was up about eye high. Melky Cabrera fights it off and fouls it out of play.
6th extra base hit against Nolasco.
Nolasco, 2 home runs given up tonight. He has now tied David Price and Jeremy Guthrie with 13 home runs allowed. That's the most in the American League. Nolasco has had a tough run on the road this year. See, I knew the Blue Jays were going to score again. I knew it. Shut out twice against the Cardinals. I knew it was just a matter of time they'd score. I know you didn't think they would, but I thought they would. Melky Cabrera lifts a high fly ball into center, and Danny Santana almost ran into Josh Willingham. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Thank you, Jamie. And the Orioles trying to keep the Red Sox at bay. Bud Norris has allowed just 2 hits over 5 innings. He hasn't walked a batter and struck out 4. Well, the Red Sox, they're really scuffling as well. At the start of play tonight, they were 6 games off. Well, there's a high, deep drive to center field. Santana on the edge of the trap makes the catch. Bautista just got underneath it.
Got underneath it, and it got just a little bit deep. If he could have got the barrel out just a little bit more and pulled it, Jose would have had another home run against Minnesota.
Bautista has 20 home runs in 39 games coming into this game against the Minnesota Twins. And he said it was just a little bit too high. What a dangerous lineup.
And deep, too, especially with a right-handed pitcher on the mound. And Lynn and Francisco are in the lineup for the Blue Jays. And they're going to be facing some righties now for a while. This whole week, they have right-handed pitchers scheduled to pitch against them.
Lynn lifts a fly ball into center. Santana is there. The inning is over, but the Blue Jays get another home run. This one off the bat of Jose Reyes. Blue Jays have a 4-2 lead. Now it's time for the Home Hardware Cleanup Crew, brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products.
Let's go!
First baseman will lead things off. He has won 3 batting titles. He has a career .320 average, and when you look at his .214 spray chart, it'll show you how difficult he's to defend because he hits the ball all over the yard.
You know, that's why he won all those batting titles, because he can hit the ball from foul line to foul line. His general manager, Terry Ryan, was talking the other day saying that with the shifts going on and some of those other things, that the base hits in years past aren't there anymore for him. He used to get a lot of hits right back through the middle, and we see Jose Reyes positioned almost straight away behind the pitcher, taking away those base hits right back through the middle.
Mauer's home run numbers have really dropped since they moved into Target Field, and Target Field is a big ballpark, and the Metrodome was a very hitter-friendly park. Mauer's career high in home runs came in 2009 when he hit 28. But he's never been one to think about the long ball as opposed to hitting for the high average.
Has one of the better swings in baseball from the left side. It's pretty. He stays inside the ball, and he can shoot the ball the other way. The infield plays him the pole, and the outfield plays him the other way.
This is popped up, going to reach the seats. Joe Mauer leading off the 6th. Blue Jays have a 4-2 lead. Blue Jays have hit 2 home runs. Edwin Encarnacion, a 3-run shot in the 1st, and Jose Reyes, a solo home run in the 5th. 91 home runs for the Jays now. Ground ball. Laurie is deep out into right field. He throws in time to get Mauer. No one can play as deep as Laurie at second.
The 2014 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 16 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
You know, you said it. No one can play as deep as Brett Laurie. He can do it because he is so athletic. He's got that third baseman's arm, so when he's playing deep like that, you can see him at the top of your screen. He comes and gets the ball, too. You have to, if you're going to play that deep and the ball's hit softly like that, you got to be able to come and charge and have confidence to do that.
There's a line drive, and that's going to drop and go past Bautista all the way to the wall. Josh Willingham is headed towards second. He'll turn and go to third. Here's the throw from Anthony. Goes all the way to third base on the fly from the center field wall. But Willingham has his first triple of the season. That snaps a string of 11 straight retired by Dickey.
That's why Willingham is a run producer. Watch how he stays inside this knuckleball and drives it to right field. Jose had a shot at it, dives for it, but it's backed up by Ghost. Triple. Jose has made so many great plays like that this year. You trust his judgment.
So Willingham is at third, 1 out. The infield will stay deep. Oswaldo Arcia has walked in, grounded out to first. Dickey gets ahead with a strike. The appeal down to Eric Cooper. He said no swing. We are in the 6th inning. Dustin McGowan is starting to loosen up. McGowan hasn't pitched since Friday, so he has been well rested. That hits Arcia, and he'll go to first. And Dickey's saying, hey, he didn't get out of the way. Josh Tolley pleading the case with Tom Hallion.
And I think they have an argument, too. He bent down and threw that elbow out there to take one off the elbow.
This is an interesting play because this is one that's reviewable. A batter hit by a pitch. And watch Arcia. Does he make an attempt to get out of the way?
No, not at all. In fact, he throws his elbow down there to get hit. He throws a pad on his elbow to get hit.
Yeah. This is a reviewable play. And John Gibbons is talking to Tom Hallion, and the Blue Jays have an opportunity to review this. Kendrys Morales, the dangerous hitter, is the batter, and now the umpires are going to convene. Tom Hallion talking to the umpiring crew as to what they see.
All they have to do is walk over and take a look at it. Arcia stands over there, and it looked like he bent down to try and get hit by that.
It sure did. And R.A. Dickey felt the same way. He said, wait a second now, he didn't get out of the way. He didn't make an attempt to get out of the way. But the manager challenge, they can challenge these plays. Most common plays, the force play, the tag play, fair or foul in the outfield only. Catch or no catch in the outfield, and batter hit by a pitch. This is a reviewable play. You can challenge the call on the field. So it doesn't look as though they're going to challenge it. So there's one out. Runners at the corners. Arcia hit by a pitch. Morales, the DH, has gone 0 for 2, strikeout and a ground out. Dickey gets ahead.
Let's say they did challenge that, and the umpire looked at it. He'd have to determine in his judgment if the guy attempted to get out of the way.
It would be in New York. They'd send it to New York for them to challenge it. They would have to review it. The umpires here would not have anything to do with it.
That's right.
Ball and strike, one out. Upstairs. R.A. Dickey retired Mauer on a ground out. Willingham hit a triple to the wall in right center, and then Arcia was hit by a pitch. 3-1. Trevor Plouffe is on deck. Dustin McGowan is loose in the Blue Jays bullpen. That'll load the bases. Ball 4 to Morales. So John Gibbons is taking the slow walk to the mound. Dustin McGowan will be coming into this ball game. R.A. Dickey again leaves with the lead, but the bases are loaded. Same thing happened in Detroit. He left with the bases loaded. That time there were no outs. This time he's got an out. Dustin McGowan in from the bullpen to face Trevor Plouffe. Dickey out of the game. R.A. Dickey leaves with the bases loaded and 1 out. Last time he started, he left in a similar situation. It was in Detroit. Also in the 6th inning, he left with the bases loaded and nobody out. Aaron Loop got out of that situation without allowing a run. Now Dustin McGowan in.
Last pitched on the 6th. That was Friday versus the Cardinals. Pitched very effectively. An inning and 2/3, nothing across the board. Retired all 5 batters that he faced, and he's into the game here now because they need a strikeout, a pop-up, or a ground ball. A little bit more speed with McGowan on the mound.
Willingham at third, Arcia at second, Kendrys Morales at first. Trevor Plouffe takes a first pitch strike from McGowan. He has been outstanding since moving into the bullpen. He's got the swing and miss pitches you need in these situations.
And that's why he's in here. John Gibbons will bring him in with runners on base, hoping to get that strikeout.
Ball on a strike, another good slider just off the plate. Bouncing ball. Reyes comes after it, shovels the second for 1, back to first, double play. What a turn by Laurie. It didn't look like a double play ball, but Reyes shoveled quickly, and Laurie turned it like he's been doing it for 10 years. Terrific double play to end the inning. The bullpen once again bails out R.A. Dickey. He's got a 4-2 lead. Drive of the Game is brought to you by the 2014 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 16 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
First inning, couple runners on, 1-1 count. Velasco tries to go breaking ball to Edwin Encarnacion. Big mistake. Stays back on that one and hits it out of the ballpark. Edwin, his 20th home run of the season. Tonight's drive of the game.
That erased an early 2-0 deficit. Blue Jays lead at 4-2. Hits are even at 5 apiece. Both clubs have hit 2 home runs. Velasco just never gives you the same velocity in the same area, back and forth.
Yeah, he really pulled the string, if you will. Caleb Thielbar now warming up. Blue Jays last inning put 4 good swings on, and I think Ron Gardenhire senses that Nolasco's coming to the end of his night.
Reyes hit a home run. Cabrera fired out to left. Bautista just missed a home run, as did Lynn. Full count. Juan Francisco is on deck. Left-hander warming up for Francisco. Bullet into left field. Encarnacion has his second hit of the night.
Looked like a fastball that was down and away from him, but when he gets his body rocking and rolling and gets that bat started, he can go down and reach that ball, which he does. Head down and shoots it right by Pluth, the third baseman.
Nolasco has struck out Francisco twice tonight, so he is going to stay and to face the Blue Jays third baseman. Got a pitch to hit and just fouled it into the glove of the catcher.
It looks like they're really seeing the ball now. Third time through for the Blue Jays against Ricky Nolasco. Each one of those 6 hitters taking big swings against him.
Blue Jays have been a pretty good team at adjusting. Starter might shut them down early in a game, and we'll see them make some adjustments second and third time through the order.
Kevin Seitzer was talking about that before today's game, that no team pitches them the same way, and he's proud of his players, the adjustments that they've made from team to team.
Ground ball. This could be 2. Long toss to second. Escobar back to first. It is a double play. 4-6-3 double play, and Dozier, he was a long way from second and still underhanded the ball to the shortstop. They had enough time to turn the double play. Brett Lawrie bats with nobody on and 2 outs. Boy, what a double play Lawrie turned. That ended the 6th inning and shut off the Twins' threat. The bases were loaded. The ball didn't look like a double play ball when it was hit.
But his arm makes up for a lot of that. The ball isn't hit hard. You need somebody at second base who can turn it quickly and who has a good arm, and he's got a great arm. He made that play.
When you think about pivots at second base, Robinson Cano, you think about his arm strength. Manny Trillo of the Phillies had terrific arm strength as a second baseman. Then you go back to the previous generation. Bobby Knopp, who was the second baseman with Jim Fregosi with the Angels in the late 60s through the 70s, was a terrific second baseman, and certainly wasn't the athlete Brett Lawrie is, but boy, he had a good arm. He could hang tough and really turn those tough double plays. Through shortstop into left field. Brett Lawrie has his second hit of the evening. Blue Jays are now squaring up on Ricky Nolasco. Well, Ron Gardenhire, he senses that as well. He is going to make a pitching change here. Caleb Theobald, the left-hander, comes in. Nolasco is out. Blue Jays have a 4-2 lead. 2 outs here at the bottom of the 6th. Their hitters are wearing it out. Lonnie Chisenhall now hitting .373 for Cleveland. And he's got 2 hits and 3 RBIs tonight as they jumped on Nick Martinez, the starter for the Rangers. New pitcher for the Twins is Caleb Theobar, and he's going to face a pinch hitter. Gianna Navarro has come off the bench. He will bat for Josh Tolle in this situation. Remember, R.A. Dickey is out of the game, so Navarro will come off the bench to hit.
Theobar has come into this situation a lot this season with runners on base. He's inherited 25 runners this year, 5th most in Major League Baseball. He's got a good breaking ball. He'll use it a lot. He'll get a lot of strikeouts with his off-speed pitch.
Fly ball into center. Long run for Santana. The center fielder gets there to end the inning. Theobar cuts down the Blue Jays in the 6th. We'll go to the 7th. Jays lead it 4-2. Hungry man try new pulled pork.
That happened just last inning. Bases loaded, 1 out. Dustin McGowan on the mound. He needs a ground ball. He gets it. It's not hit hard, but watch Brett Laurie stay in there and pull it over to first base. Blue Jays turn their 57th double play of the season. That's a big one to get him out of the inning.
Dustin McGowan closes out the top half of the 6th. Gianna Navarro came on as a pinch hitter. He takes over behind the plate for Josh Tolle. Steve Tollefson comes off the bench to play second base, and with that, Brett Laurie will move from 2nd to 3rd. Juan Francisco is out of the ball game. So the Blue Jays, and this is pretty consistent. John Gibbons uses this defense when they have a lead late in the game. They're up 4-2. We go to the 7th. So Laurie's at 3rd, Tollefson's at 2nd, and Navarro is behind the plate. Kurt Suzuki, the catcher, went 1 for 2 against R.A. Dickey. Suzuki is hitless in 4 career at-bats against McGowan. Takes a good rip at that pitch up and away. You like McGowan in this role?
He's made a difference, I think, for the Blue Jays bullpen in this role right here. Started the season as one of the 5 starters for the Blue Jays, and he just didn't seem to be able to push through 4, 5, 6 innings. Talked about getting tired in the 5th and 6th inning, but now since they put him back into the bullpen, he can give you 1, 2 innings, 2 strong innings, give me everything you got, and he can recuperate a little bit quicker. John Gibbons was talking about it the other day about, hey, our bullpen was pretty good at the end of the year last year when McGowan was out there. I think batters hit about 200 against McGowan last year when he was in the bullpen. And that's a big arm that they missed early in the year.
Down Navarro just into the ball game, gets a bell ringer. Tom Hallion, the umpire, he got one early in the ball game, so he's going to give Navarro a little chance to answer that telephone that's ringing in his head.
You've had a few of those.
Oh boy,
the past, haven't you?
Yeah, that pushes your jaw right back into your ears. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's a drive into right. Bautista to his right. The ball looked like it got in the lights. Ghost is right there to back up the play. Bautista going to his right, had a bead on it, and then as he reached for it, it appeared to give him trouble in that bank of lights above the Blue Jays dugout.
Yeah, it just never looked comfortable. Bautista sure-handed in the outfield, line drive, and we've seen that for years and years here. You see him go after it and then throw the glove out there and just couldn't pick it up.
You can see how tentative he was in reaching for the ball. He wasn't really sure where it was. Once it gets in that bank of lights, you can't see it. We saw Joe Carter do that throughout his career in left field here for years, and those low liners, just like that last one. Back to McGowan. He goes to Reyes at second. Back to first. Double play. Good job by McGowan. He took his time and threw a strike to second.
Because there was some speed coming down the line at first base. Catch it first, and then they've already gone through who's going to be covering second base on a comebacker, and it's Reyes who throws a bullet over, and that's 2 double plays now for McGowan in 2 innings.
Reyes made a low throw to Encarnacion, and Edwin was able to dig it out.
You know, it looks like such an easy play, that comebacker, but how many times have you seen that ball get messed up?
Pete Walker and Bob Stanley, the pitching coach and bullpen coach, keep the pitchers out here. They'll do it once a homestand. They'll come out and take pitchers fielding practice, which includes that comeback or double play.
Doesn't that make sense, though? You do it almost every day in spring training for 6 weeks, and then the season starts. If you don't stay sharp, you're going to see a lot of mistakes, a lot of problems.
Yeah. Walker and Stanley, they make sure the pitchers get an opportunity. I mean, you could go pitch 10, 12 appearances, never have a comeback. So you come out once a homestand, you have all the pitchers go through it, and it's good practice, good refresher.
You know what it does also? It builds team chemistry and camaraderie with the pitchers. They're out there having fun.
Danny Santana. Aaron Loop warming up. McGowan got a double play to end the 6th. Gave up a base hit and a double play so far. 2 outs here in the 7th. Popped up down the left field line. Reyes and Laurie. It's Reyes, the shortstop, and McGowan has another good inning. Gives up a single, gets a double play. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Jays with a 4-2 lead. comfort zone are fans enjoying a seat upgrade courtesy of TD. While over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, there's some very special guests from Sick Kids Hospital. Welcome to the ball game. I hope you're having a good night here. It is a beautiful night. The roof is wide open, and the Blue Jays have a 4-2 lead as they are set to bat in the bottom of the 7th. Anthony Gose, the number 9 hitter, will try to get something going here. He'll be followed by Jose Reyes and Melky Cabrera.
He's got to lay one down here, doesn't he? Get something started.
He tried to and didn't like the pitch and takes a strike.
Yeah, if he's going to bunt it, that looping curveball on the inner half is a good pitch for him. That one was just a little bit too outside. He couldn't get the bat out there to bring it with him up the first base line.
Caleb Thielbar. Thielbar is 27 years old. He pitched for the first time with the Twins last year, was in 49 games, had a good year. 46 innings, just 24 hits allowed. Outside, it's 2-2.
He's done a good job against lefties. He's really shut them down, the left-handers, this season. With that breaking ball, he's got a good one.
Full count. Jose Reyes, the switch hitter, has had a good night. 2 for 3, solo home run, single, couple of stolen bases. And Gose does his job. Leadoff walk here in the 7th. But Jose Reyes has been the man of the hour tonight.
This is his single back in the 3rd inning, and then he steals second base and then takes off with Jose Bautista and steals 3rd. His 13th and 14th stolen bases of the season, and then cranks one out of here to give the Blue Jays a 2-run lead with his 4th home run. Doing a little bit of everything. We picked the right guy, didn't we, to talk about in the opening?
You could see it coming. Everything's starting to come together for Reyes. His average now at 265. Gose has 3 steals in 4 attempts. He has been a source of distraction to most pitchers. Reyes has a good rip.
I like these 2 back-to-back, Gose and Reyes. Jose can handle the bat. He's not afraid to take a pitch if he wants Anthony to try and steal a base. It's almost like having 2 leadoff hitters back to back.
Gose went on first move. Here's the throw from Mauer, and they get Anthony Gose. He was guessing with Thielbar, and he guessed wrong. So the leadoff man is erased.
Yeah, you could see that happening right there. He's going to guess. He threw over there one time and then went home. Second time he threw over there, Anthony was guessing that he was going to go home. And Thielbar crosses him up.
It's a caught stealing, 1-3-6 on the play. Gose is caught stealing for the 2nd time this season. Reyes pops it back. The way this game started looked like it was going to be a real barn burner, but things have settled down after the 1st inning. Only 1 run has been scored by either club. That was Reyes' solo home run in the 5th. Hits this one high into the air in center. Danny Santana makes the catch. Whenever you have a new pitcher into the game, it really creates pressure on the hitting coach. He's got all of his hitters coming to him. Hey, tell me about the left-hander. Gross was first, then Reyes. And then Melky Cabrera, he gets a little dose of Kevin Seitzer. And finally, Bautista and Steve Tollison listening in on what they can expect from the left-hander.
Well, you better do your homework if you're the hitting coach. And with everything that's available to you, Kevin Seitzer certainly does his homework. He'll come in here early in the day to be prepared for that day's pitcher. Now, it's not just the starter, but it's the relievers. You got to do your homework on every one of them and watch film of them. Have an idea of how they're going to pitch your hitters.
This is playable in foul ground. Joe Mauer is there. Melky Cabrera is retired. Theobald is out of the inning. We'll go to the 8th. Blue Jays have a 4-2 lead over the Twins. Of the world's best magazines on your tablet. Baseball fans, sign up at nextissue.ca/baseball and get an extended 60-day free trial. Beautiful night in Toronto. Rogers Center with the roof wide open. Aaron Loup into the ball game for his 29th appearance, and he'll work the 8th inning.
Last worked a couple of days ago against St. Louis, and he had his 15 1/3 scoreless inning streak snapped against the Cardinals. This is the inning that has been a tough inning for the Blue Jays this season.
This is their toughest inning by ERA of any inning they pitch. In the 8th inning, the Blue Jays have given up a 6.43 earned run average. 45 earned runs in 63 innings. Brian Dozier, Joe Mauer, and Josh Willingham, the scheduled batters here in the 8th. Aaron Loup had that terrific outing in Detroit when he came in the 6th inning behind R.A. Dickey with the bases loaded and nobody out, and got out of the jam, retired the side, stranded the bases full.
He's going to have to be good because he's going to be facing their best hitters here in the 8th inning.
Dustin McGowan inherited a bases loaded situation, and he got the double play to end the threat. That was in the 6th. Leadoff man reaches here in the 8th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Now that is a beautiful sight. That is a secure feeling right up there against Dad. Nobody out, leadoff man aboard. Joe Mauer bunts it up the third base line, and it's just barely foul outside of third. Boy, those leadoff walks, they will come back to haunt you.
They do such a good job of being very patient at the plate. Minnesota Twins, Dozier especially.
Mauer 260 for the season, but he's hit just 211 against lefty pitching. Laurie coming in a couple of steps to guard against that threat of a bunt.
And Aaron, with that funky delivery that he has, he's handled Joe Mauer in his career. Mauer 0 for 3 versus Luke. He's going to have to make a good pitch.
Blue Jays have turned 2 double plays so far tonight. Off the glove, Reyes will go to the bag and fire to first, make it 3 double plays. Reyes is some kind of athlete. The only chance he had was to go to the bag himself, and that's what he did.
First of all, he was positioned perfectly behind the bag. You can see him. We talked about the last time Mauer was up. And then Loop deflects the ball right to him. Right off the glove. And then Jose does the rest. Plants that right foot, throws off his back foot, and plenty of time to get Mauer at first base.
3 double plays tonight. Bending breaking ball in there for his strike. Josh Willingham tripled in the 6th, but he was stranded on base. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Acer, official partner of the Toronto Blue Jays. Boy, that crossfire fastball is tough.
And he can get it in on those right-handers. It's a very tough angle to try and hit that ball. Got him.
Came right back with it. The leadoff walk didn't mean a thing. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Jays have a 4-2 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. news, stats, stories, and scores, follow us on Twitter at Sportsnet. You can find out everything that's going on. All the great crew with Sportsnet will keep you up to date on Twitter. New pitcher for the Twins is Matt Guerrier. He is coming back to the Twins. He is among the leaders in many pitching categories for Minnesota. He has a career record of 27-34 with 6 saves. And he's got a heavy sinking fastball.
Yeah, he does, and a pretty good breaking ball also. Pitched for the Twins from 2004 through 2010. Now in his 10th big league season.
Bautista lines it to left. This ball is off the wall. Bautista is headed for second, and he'll get there standing up with a leadoff double here in the 8th. 11th double of the season for Bautista. He starts out the 8th inning.
That's a good start right there. Something on the inner half, and Jose has missed a couple of balls that were up. That time he gets him to get the ball down and bangs it off the wall for extra bases.
That double snapped an 0 for 11 streak for Bautista. He had a leadoff walk. He had a walk in his first at bat ahead of the 3-run home run by Edwin Encarnacion.
Well, this is where the Blue Jays need to tack on a run right here. Situational hitting by Adam Lynn. He's going to look for something to try and pull to the right side.
Lynn has gone 0 for 3 tonight. Blue Jays have 8 hits. The Twins have 6. Casey Jansen, the closer, on the left. Chad Jenkins also warming up should the Blue Jays score a few runs here in the 8th. Why wouldn't you go with Casey Jansen? They score a couple more runs and sit Jansen down?
Yeah, non-save situation. Save him. You might need him tomorrow night. You might need him the night after that, or the day after that. So just pitch him in save situations.
Lynn strikes out. Pitch down and away. That's the first out of the 8th.
The film event you've been waiting for has finally arrived. Don't miss DreamWorks How to Train Your Dragon 2 in theaters Friday.
They're going to put Edwin Encarnacion on base with first base open. Steve Tollison is the next hitter. Tollison entered the game as a defensive replacement, and he will now bat against the right-hander, Matt Guerrier.
Fans want to see Edwin swing one more time, but they're not going to get a chance to do that.
Edwin 2 for 3 with a 3-run home run in the first. That really got the Jays turned around. That erased an early 2-0 deficit. Reyes tacked on a solo home run in the 5th. That made it 4-2. That's where we stand here in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, you take the bat out of Edwin's hand, and you also set up the double play. Makes a lot of sense. Take your chances with Steve Tollison.
Tollison getting his first at bat of the night. .291 average for Tollison. He has just 55 at bats. Tollison has 8 extra base hits in those 55 ABs. He didn't want to, but he went around. Tollefson strikes out. 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th.
Got ahead of him and then went out of the strike zone. You can see not real sure of that one. So Tollefson goes down against Guerrier, and it's up to Laurie to try and cash in that leadoff double.
Just off the outside edge. Guerrier spent his last 2 seasons in the National League. Half of the 2012 season with the Dodgers. Actually, he was in LA in 2011 as well. He made the Dodgers opening day roster all 3 seasons, 11, 12, and 13, and then he was designated for assignment and was eventually traded to the Cubs for Carlos Marmol.
I don't think he can throw a ball straight if he tried to. You can see that good sinking action on his fastball and the slider.
Ball disappears just as it gets to home plate.
He is 5th on the Twins all-time list for appearances, even though he spent the last couple of years away from Minnesota.
From 2007 to 2010, he made over 70 appearances a year for the Twins. Laurie hits one high and deep to right. This ball is going to hang up. Arcia makes the catch right up against the wall. The Blue Jays will leave a pair. We'll go to the 9th. The Jays have a 2-run lead. Casey Janssen, the closer, on, trying to wrap it up for the Jays. Class of the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. The inductees include Dave Van Horn, Jim Ridley, Murray Cook, and Tim Wallach. Induction ceremonies will be held on Saturday, June 21st in St. Mary's, Ontario. There'll also be an autograph appearance by Devon White, George Bell, and Dwayne Ward. So visit visit baseballhalloffame.ca for more information. The 2014 induction class of the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. Kevin Pillar into left field, taking over from Melky Cabrera. Casey Janssen on the mound.
Janssen looking for that 12th save of the season. He has come in and he has thrown strikes.
Straight up over home plate, Deanna Navarro takes the mask off and he makes the catch. 1 down. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Connected, here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osman. Thank you, Ivanka. We're not going to spill the beans. We'll keep that for you. You can tell them all about Joe Madden and what he's trying to do to turn things around down there in Tampa Bay.
We'll tell you it didn't work.
1 out. There's a first pitch base hit, and Kendrys Morales gets his first hit of the 2014 season. A sharp single into right. Morales in his first game is going to be lifted in favor of the pinch runner. Aaron Hicks comes off the bench. Take over for the DH Morales, who finishes up 1 for 3 with a walk. Trevor Plouffe step in against Casey Janssen.
Could it be 4 innings in a row?
Double plays. They've finished
thinking.
each of the last 3. They had a double play in the 8th with no outs and then got the strikeout. 6th ended with a double play. The 7th ended with a double play. They had a double play in the 8th. 1 out.
Now, the first thing you have to do is you have to execute the pitch. If you make a good pitch, you can get the ball on the ground. Jansen can do that. He has had success in the past against the Twins. 17 games, 4 for 4 in saves.
Casey Janssen picked up his 11th save of the season Friday night against the Cardinals. On the ground, Laurie at third, Tollison at second, and he can't find the handle. Steve Tollison got the ball, and all they can get is that lead runner at second, but now there are 2 outs.
Had the double play. Laurie gives him a good feed, and you can see when he reaches in to get the ball, it just doesn't come right into his hand quickly, and he does the right thing. Just hold on to it. You can see he's upset with himself that he knew that should have ended the ball game.
Eduardo Nunez takes over as a pinch runner for Trevor Plouffe. Kurt Suzuki is the batter. Twins down to their final out. Down and away. Suzuki had his 2 hits tonight. He's 2 for 3. He's also 2 for 3 against Casey Janssen in limited at-bats. Nunez will be given second base, a conceded second base. His run doesn't mean anything. It's defensive indifference as he advances the 90 feet. Ball and a strike to the Twins catcher. Perfect pitch is fouled out of play. Casey Jansen's been throwing darts ever since he's come back.
Throwing that little cutter on the outside part of the plate. He'll move it around. He'll use his curveball at times. He's got a plan when he's out there.
That's going to be foul, sliced into the seats. Casey Janssen has converted 45 of his 48 save opportunities since the start of 2013. That's the second highest conversion rate in the American League, behind Greg Holland of the Royals. Two and two. defensive swing, and Suzuki stays alive.
Boy, he puts up good at bats against the Blue Jays, doesn't he, Suzuki? He's going to be a tough out. Going to have to make a pitch against this guy.
There's a line drive into left. Pilar can't make the play. One run is in. Nunez comes in to score, and Suzuki ends up at second, and he represents the tying run. Kevin Pilar was deep and may have been better off just to play it and concede the run.
Yeah, concede the run and play it on a hop and keep Suzuki out of scoring position. But he made up his mind that he's going to try and end the game with a catch. It looked like he had a shot at it and just missed it.
So now Suzuki represents the tying run at second. It's a 4-3 ball game. Eduardo Escobar, the shortstop. Jansen comes right back with a strike. I mentioned Jansen last worked on Friday night. He threw 13 pitches to pick up the save. One and one. Jose Batista in right has 6 outfield assists. That's one off the major league lead. There's a little looper. This is trouble. This is going to drop. Suzuki is around third. He's going to score. Here's the throw to second. It's wide, and the Twins have tied it.
Sometimes it's not the line drives that do it for you. You can't throw a ball out there any better than Escobar does right here. That ball, jam sandwich, swings hard, and Brett Laurie almost comes up with it. So a couple of bloopers to left field, and the Twins have tied it.
Casey Jansen saddled with his second blown save of the season. Laurie did everything he could. The Blue Jays had a chance for double play. Steve Tollison couldn't find the handle on the fielder's choice off the bat of Trevor Plouffe. All they could get was the second out of the inning. Now it's a 4-4 game. Danny Santana has homered and singled in 4 at-bats.
Now the infield. Anything on the ground, you got to be able to be in position to knock it down, keep that runner from scoring. If you can't make the play, keep it in the infield.
The Twins have now out-hit the Blue Jays 9-8. 3 hits in the inning.
Can't defend those bloopers. Nothing you can do about it. Casey made good pitches, and they just hit them just out of the reach of the Blue Jays.
Casey's first blown save came on a Reyes air against the Royals in the opening game of the 4-game series. He had a chance to get out of this game with a possible double play.
First earned runs given up. A win for R.A. Dickey. But now you just have to scramble.
Upstairs now 2-2. Casey Fang and Glenn Perkins loosening up. Perkins is the closer for Minnesota. breaking ball missed upstairs. It's a full count. Dozier, the second baseman, is on deck if Santana can reach. Turn on and miss. Santana strikes out, but the Twins have tied it. 2 runs on 3 hits will go to the bottom of the ninth. It's a 4-4 game. Gianna Navarro, Anthony Gose, and Jose Reyes when we come back. Matt Guerrero pitched around the leadoff double in the 8th. He is still the pitcher. Eduardo Nunez entered the game as a pinch runner, takes over defensively at third base. 4-4 game. 2-0. Navarro entered the game as a pinch hitter in the 6th, and he fired out to center as a right-handed hitter. 3 wide ones. Anthony Gose is on deck. There's a strike. Blue Jays only have 1 player remaining on the bench. It's Eric Kratz, the 3rd Blue Jay catcher. Ball 4, leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 9th. So it looks like Kratz is going to come on to pinch run for Deanna Navarro. Navarro does his job. He takes the leadoff walk. So the Blue Jays now have used all 4 players off their bench. Anthony Gose is the batter. He's got 0 for 2 with a walk. You expect him to bunt here.
Yes.
He squares early and bunts right through it.
Now, if they are successful in sacrificing here, I think they walk Reyes, because Kevin Pillar took over for Melky Cabrera, and he is hitting in the hole. So if they sacrifice, they're not going to let Reyes beat him.
Pilar's getting all of the pitches on Guerrero. Bautista and Seitzer bringing Pilar up to speed, but that's a great call. You wouldn't think they would pitch to Reyes if they can execute the sacrifice.
I'd take a shot at drag bunting like he did in Texas.
Goes squares early and bunts right through it again. So now it's 1-2. You would think that they would take the bunt off. Minnesota doesn't think that. Eduardo Nunez is still in at third base. They're still expecting to bunt, and goes shows bunt, and bunts foul, and that'll be a strikeout. So Jose Reyes has had some night. He singled in the third, stole second. That was his 13th steal, and then steals third, number 14, and then had a leadoff home run in the fifth to make it a 4-2 game.
And he's also chipped in with his glove with this double play right here. Done it all. I mean, it's fitting that he has a chance to end it. But first, there's going to be a pitching change.
So Guerrera's out with one out and man at first. Casey Fine is into the ball game. Right-hander to face Reyes when we come back in this tie game. Pitcher into the game is Casey Fien, making his 28th appearance. He enters the ball game with a man at first and one out in a 4-4 game.
Like all Minnesota pitchers, he pounds that strike zone. You see he's only walked 5 batters in his 27 games here. Pounds that strike zone. Two-seam fastball, tops out around 91, 92. He's also got a four-seamer and a good changeup.
Jose Reyes takes strike one. Reyes getting his first look at Casey Fien. He is 2 for 4 tonight. Eric Kratz at first base. He came on as a pinch runner. Bounced foul outside of first.
Looked like he's trying to yank that ball in the hole between first and second. With Joe Mauer holding on the runner. There's a target to shoot for on the right side.
Another foul. 0-2. Twins jumped out to a 2-0 lead. They had back-to-back home runs in the first, and Edwin Encarnacion hit a 3-run home run in the bottom half of the first. It's a 3-2 game. Reyes homered in the fifth to make it 4-2 Jays, and then the Twins scored 2 in the top half of the ninth. Line drive, that's going to drop in front of Arcia. Pat stops at second. 3-hit night for Reyes.
Outfield playing very deep. They didn't want anything over their heads or split the outfield, or Kratz would have been able to score. So Jose dumps one right in front of him. Looked like he cut his fastball a little bit. Jose got it out in front. Big night for Jose Reyes.
Average up to 268. 3 for 5 night. Kevin Pillar batting for the first time. Entered the game defensively in the top of the ninth. Goes after the first pitch. He's out in front.
Got to really stay on Fiend. He's going to pound the strike zone. Not going to walk you. Think about right center field or right back through the middle.
Jose Bautista's on deck. 0-2 count to Kevin Pillar. 0 for 7 this season with runners in scoring position.
Now you got a battle right here. Shorten up that swing. Think about going the other way. Really track that ball.
Way outside. Reyes can get a big lead off of first base should there be a ground ball on the infield. Stay out of the double play. You get Bautista to the plate here in the ninth. There's a little looper into right. This is going to drop. Eric Kratz is around third. Here comes the throw to the plate. He is in there, and the Blue Jays win.